The STEAM initiative at Alden Central Schools really began last year during the 2013-14 school year. And I know that the STEM initiative nationwide, worldwide, has been ongoing for quite some time. What we did, and really this goes back to my understanding of STEM and STEAM, and I think that the first time I really embraced the concept was when I read an article about STEAM, which specifically included the concept of the arts, and that's when it really struck me as something that I wanted to really push here at Alden, because the idea of innovation, I think, is key. And as someone who believes strongly in the work and teachings of Tony Wagner from Harvard, who has written a number of books, including his most recent book called Creating Innovators, focuses primarily on this concept of innovation, and that in this global economy we have many things that are happening, many things that are changing, including losing jobs in this country to outsourcing. But very clearly, he makes the point in his book that the one thing that we can't outsource is innovation.
The whole idea of innovation is that we become a nation better able to solve problems creatively. An innovator, in its final definition, is a creative problem solver. And if we can become better at solving more different kinds of problems that need solving all over the world, we will generate jobs.
And so when we look at our education system, it's truly critical for us to promote innovation within our curriculum. And I know that with the Common Core and the Race to the Top initiative and the high-stakes testing and data-driven instruction and APPR, we're challenged because much of that movement is focused on assessments and data, and it's driven by content that we don't have a lot of control over.
Applying the concept of innovation in the classroom is so important because it engages the students. It allows them to experience learning opportunities that they can come up with themselves with the guidance and facilitation of teachers. When you have innovation in the classroom, it gives students another reason to come to school every day, other than it's just the right thing to do. They're curious. They have a desire to try new things and take some risks and see the benefits of working on those risks.
I think that one of the biggest concepts comes back to how we think and how we learn. When we all went to school, education was predicated on memorization and regurgitation. And we're no longer there. We're no longer thinking about how we memorize and how we spit back information to people. And learning has become something that is much more critical and with much more quality and depth to it. So when we think of STEAM and project-based learning, the ability to incorporate higher-order thinking skills on a level that allows kids to present what they know differently, I think we really get at helping kids being prepared for college and career. That's what the whole reform is about.
My hope is to promote project-based, authentic learning, especially in the area of science, technology, engineering, arts, and mathematics. And so what we did last year was we formed a group of teachers and even some district level people, director of curriculum, director of technology, and we spent considerable time talking about what STEAM is and how it would be defined for us here at Alden High School. So through that process, we created the STEAM initiative. We introduced it to the Board of Education and the community, and we've dedicated a space in the high school that we are in the process of developing. We're about to enter phase 2. Really, phase 1 was designating a space. We have a dedicated classroom space in the high school that will be focused on providing coursework across the curriculum, across all of those different curricular areas. In this case, we have art courses, business courses, technology courses, math courses, science courses, and even an English elective that we've put in this particular space we call the Innovation Lab to offer courses to students, again, that are project-based and focused on cultivating innovation and creativity.
So let's talk about some of the technology that we have down in the lab. So we did install this past year a smart board that allows, it's really about an 8-foot projection screen, so the students can do the interactivity with that. We also are going to start utilizing the smart software, so you can go through and do lessons and presentations and then capture that and then review that at a later time. Included in that smart board is actually a document camera, so that students can show work, not have to go through and recreate that hooked up computer. You can just take a piece of paper and really put it on a panel, and that will, screen will go through that. We have a lot of dedicated technology in that area. For the most part at our high school, teachers have to plan ahead and go into a system and sign up technology and make sure that it's there for that time. With the STEAM lab, the technology is readily available, and students can then, if they're working on projects, they know that the iPad that they had last week working on something is going to be there, because we have an iPad cart. It's basically got 25 iPads and a teacher iPad. We also have in an adjacent room to the STEAM area is it's a computer-aided design lab. These are the beefiest desktop computers we have in district, and they do run CAD software actually very well. We are looking to continue to add other technologies, such as we have the ability for students to do polls, so that the teacher could ask questions and the students would punch in a code and then respond to that, and the teacher can check to see for understanding. We're also looking at adding additional laptops. Anything that we can look towards technology that would focus on really project-based learning. We did add one of the MakerBot 3D printers also this year. So it's starting to get, I guess, a nice amount of technology down there for kids to utilize for project-based learning.
Our innovation lab enhances the concept of innovation by providing a variety of places and ways for students to learn and to be innovative. Our students this year have already benefited greatly from our approach to the innovation lab and our STEAM initiative. STEAM meaning science, technology, engineering, arts, and math, and the integration of those areas. With our 3D printer that we just purchased, the students have been able to explore a variety of ideas. This is an example of a thank you memento that we're giving to our internship mentors. This is a model of a 3D printer that was printed on a 3D printer. One of our students, Zach Garrigan, thought that it would be a kind of a neat way to capture the idea of something new that's in our program this year. And so he drew this up on the computer using a 3D modeling software program and printed it. So this is something nice that we can share with our local community members that have donated their time to help our students with the internships. Another example of students being able to come up with interesting questions and also seek answers to those questions. We were talking about a 3D printing process, and it was difficult for them to wrap their mind around how the printing works when there's space in the middle. So this is kind of a ping pong ball. So we were able to draw one on the 3D printer. This is drawn by Mitchell Lazinski and Zach Salem and Jerry Kotis. They all worked together, drew this sphere, and we were able to print it. It's hollow and it kind of works like a ping pong ball. This is an example of taking an idea and a question and curiosity, putting it all together and coming out with a solution at the end and an answer.
For years in the middle school, we played checkers all the time, and it was frustrating to have to switch on and off with two people playing, one person watching. It got annoying, games took forever, and so in high school, during our sophomore year, we decided, let's play it all together. And so we decided to draw up a game board that included all three of us to play, had a hexagonal shape, and we designed the game so that each of us had a side we played on, and then our goal was to get to the opposite side with the other two players trying to stop us.
I was given the task to create our first prototype of the board. So I first took a sheet of poster board and put some blue construction paper on it. And then I took a ruler and a pencil and just drew every single triangle, all three directions, and took a Sharpie, colored in all the black triangles, blue, green, and red, even though it's starting to fade now. And then I laminated it so it lasts a little bit longer, but it's a little bit bent now, but that's our first design. And for the pieces, for the red, I just took a red piece of construction paper on one side and a silver piece of ribbon on the other, and I laminated that so the red would be the regular piece and the silver would be the king. For the green pieces, I did green construction paper with a light blue ribbon for a king, and for the blue pieces, it's blue construction paper and a dark blue for the king. Oh, in my senior class, I had a class called College Computer Apps. That's where we mainly work with computers and make games and stuff. So one of the methods used is Scratch. It's a very basic beginner game design. So I remade our game in Scratch, and it works very much like the real game. Has all the same features to it. And everybody moves and it rotates all by itself. If there's a jump, it automatically makes you take it. It'll automatically flip the piece to a king if it becomes a king. The code for it is all this. You're gonna have to scroll. Would be all of this, and it took a couple weeks to make it all work.
Okay, our next task was after Jerry made the coding and the game on Scratch, we decided we wanted a higher quality, better physical game board. And once the 3D printers came in, we knew we could do that. And so we previously in our freshman year with Project Lead the Way, we were using Autodesk Inventor. And since then, we have continued to use it to design various things, one of them being our game board. And we used Autodesk Inventor 2015, which is going to be loaded onto the computers in the Innovation Lab so kids can continue to design things like this. I did this on my own personal laptop, but with the software in the Innovation Lab, kids can do this. So this is the parallelogram piece, which is part of one of the sides of the game board. We also have the centerpiece, which is what goes in the middle. We design it with these little hooks here, so the side pieces, the parallelograms, will sit around this triangle, and they have slots where these L shapes fit, and the game board can stay together in one piece. This is the printed game board, as you saw before from Inventor. We put this in the 3D printer through the MakerWare software, and we printed it. This is one of the pieces you saw, one of the parallelogram pieces. They all fit around the center, which is here. Still have a few design changes to make, very minor they may be, but the game board fits together very nicely. And we also have the pieces, which we have printed in blue, red, and black. And they each fit very nicely into the game board.
So after I made my version of Scratch of this checkers game, I wanted to put it on my tablet so I can play it with a smaller board on the go if I wanted to. So I made it on my Kindle, which is Android. It's very simple and not very aesthetically pleasing right now, but it's still a work in process. So there's two options. You can do a new game, which will reset the game. And it works very the same as the Scratch version. You click it, it'll move and it'll rotate on its own. And then Do that for each player. If you're done, you can click the title menu. It'll take you back to this. If you click on resume game, it'll pick it up right where you left off before.
Well, as you can see, we've gotten pretty far with this project of ours, just a personal thing we took on. So at this point, the only direction we can go in now is the business marketing area. I mean, we don't know exactly how to do that yet, but that's something we're eager to learn. And we never would have gotten to this point without having all these tools available to us, especially the 3D printer. We wouldn't have the fantastic prototype we have now. The hands-on learning that we got from this project was incredible. I mean, using the AutoCAD, just kind of making things whatever that the teacher tells you to do, only goes so far. When it's something you really want to do and want to succeed with, you're going to learn a lot more. You're going to do research on it. If you run into a problem, you're going to look up how to fix it. And you learn a lot more by doing those little things than any classroom or textbook can teach you, because all those are for is the basics. And so that's why this is a definite improvement on the Common Core, because this provides that next step, whereas the Common Core can just provide the groundwork.
I think that when we look at what we've created with the STEAM Lab now, it's a start. It's a starting place. We still do a whole lot of traditional instruction and a whole lot of traditional learning. And if we're able to extend that, utilizing community resources, looking at partnerships out in the community, whether they be higher ed partnerships or whether they be business partnerships, being able to foster that collaborative spirit of working together to be able to incorporate the kinds of practices that kids will be experiencing in their next environment in our high school will help prepare them much better. We used to prepare kids to go to huge lecture halls and sit there and take notes and then be able to give back information and impart the knowledge back to show that they've learned it. Now we're looking for authentic products that we can show physical audiences. And if we can incorporate this in the fiber of our instruction in every component, in every department, in every learning situation, then I believe we're better preparing our kids.
Something that our Innovation Lab can do in the future, well, it'll hopefully be a place where ideas can start and grow and blossom into something that's very real. One class that we're really excited about is our Innovation, Creativity, and Entrepreneurialism course. We're calling it ICE. And that's being offered next year. It is a true combination of the STEAM initiative. Students will, using creative problem solving, identify an existing challenge with a product or a service that exists. They will brainstorm solutions. They will work with teams to come up with a variety of solutions, make decisions about which solution or combination of solutions is the best to follow. They will design using 3D modeling software, using sketching, with support of all their math and science skills, come up with concepts, prototypes. They can use the metal shop, the wood shop, the 3D printer, clay, paint, whatever they need to do, paper, to create prototypes, to bring it through the design process, hopefully to come up with a product that they can even develop a marketing plan for, and who knows, maybe even bring it to market.
We'll be spending more time at the end of the year together as a group, reimagining what that space can be, and looking at what other equipment, technology, furniture that we need. And again, we also are looking for connections in the community, reaching out to the business community, and looking to create partnerships. Not only to bring skilled tradesmen in and have them present to students, so that our students get a better sense of what kind of jobs are out there and what kind of careers they might be interested in. But also, again, to form those sponsorships where we can benefit in terms of resources that those groups may be able to provide us. I mean, we've had here a great relationship with Wilson Greatbatch, who as a medical manufacturer, a great innovator in the health related field. It's invigorating to be able to take on this almost local project where we have more control over it, and we can begin to create that balance between the mandated coursework and curriculum that we have to implement and this very, very critical piece in education today, which is nurturing innovation and creativity in our students so that they can be prepared to compete and succeed in the 21st century as critical thinkers, as problem solvers, as collaborators. All those things that Tony Wagner talks about as the 7 skills for success in the 21st century.